Is it time? Why, yes, it is, everybody. Once again, another League of Legends shoutcast brought to you by your host, CaptainFlowers. We are going to be jumping into the North American SoloQ ranked ladder yet again today for some high-tier action. Masters, Challengers, Diamond 1 level players here in this game. So we're going to see some high skill cap stuff. Going to see some outplays. Going to see some crazy team fights. At least that's what I'm hoping for. We are here just at the very beginning of the game, 59 seconds in. So we're going to be able to get in on every single bit of the juicy action. We've got Garen and Gangplank in the top lane. Evelynn and Rengar in the jungle. Veigar and Zilean here in the mid lane. Vayne and Lucian on AD carry. And Janna and Braum rounding out the squads on support. Very, very unusual matchup here in the mid lane this game. It's going to be the first thing I'm going to touch on because it's the very first thing I noticed about this game. Veigar and Zilean. Two champions you almost never see in the game, period, and they're going to be going up against each other head-to-head here in the mid lane. Both of them bringing a very interesting, unique mechanic to the table. Veigar having that ability to drop that huge zone control stun while also punishing any enemy brave enough to build enough AP to let his ult one-shot them. So he's going to be a huge damage threat if he can farm up that AP in the mid lane nice and early on. Zilean, on the other hand, he's got a lot of utility. He's more of like an Orianna, like a Lulu-style mid. One who brings a lot of escape, a lot of chase, a lot of survivability, a lot of outplay potential to his team. At the same time, can drop a lot of damage with those bombs, especially if you can get them strapped onto someone. Here in the top side, Garen and Rengar are going to be doing that double jungle. Double jungle, an incredibly potent strategy if you've got a jungler who's not the best on their early clear. Rengar's early clear, a little bit unsafe, a little bit sketchy sometimes, but Garen going to be able to tank these creeps for him, make it a little easier. Evelynn and Gangplank doing the exact same thing. Both of these junglers, very powerful gankers, but not the safest clears in the world, so their top laner is just going to give them a little bit of love in that respect. What a bunch of brotherhood and camaraderie we're seeing here on the Rift just at the very beginning of this match. Lucian and Braum trading with Vayne and Janna here. Bot side, nice and early. Lucian, Braum, a lane that has a lot of bully potential as long as they don't get outranged, as long as they don't get outpoked. And the thing is about laning against Vayne, you don't have to worry about getting outranged. She's got to get up in your face to do what she wants to do anyway, and that's right where Lucian and Braum want to see her. Janna just going to try to drop these shields, keep Vayne nice and healthy, and try to farm this lane out. More aggression coming out here from the red side bot lane. The heal already being popped from the blue team. The exhaust is going to go down from Braum. Both AD carries now being brought very, very low. Vayne not having the burst that Lucian has, so she has to be a little bit more careful here. Garen going to find the silence Q onto the Gangplank barrel. He wanted it onto the Gangplank himself. Going to miss out on a little bit of trade potential there in the top lane because of that. But with all the pots on both of these top laners, they don't really have a whole lot to worry about here. Janna Tornado going to connect onto Lucian. The heal being popped from the red side as they do manage to walk away from this Evelynn gank here nice and early. Not a whole lot of CC. The blue side, they do have the Janna. That's soft CC. That you've got the small knockup. You've got the slows coming out from her. You've got a little bit of ganking power from Evelynn, but at the same time, there's not a whole lot of CC coming out from this blue side. So Lucian might just be able to walk away from this. They will blow the flash. Janna being able to come forward with those tornadoes. And it's going to be first blood going on to Vayne. It's Braum who drops. Rengar rotating down to the bot side. He wants to try to chase Vayne into this brush, but it's very, very risky with Janna and Evelynn both sitting there. The blue team going to take the first kill of the game, first blood. Going over to them just earlier than the 4-minute mark. 5.8 to 5.0 thousand gold now. And that's what you want to do if you're this Evelynn. You're looking at the bot side and you're seeing Vayne into Lucian. That's a big red flag. This is a potential lane that could get bullied, but if we can get them out of that situation, if we can get them into the mid game, out of this laning phase, without having it be disaster, Vayne's going to outscale him like a monster. So if Evelynn just wants to sit bot lane, that's an incredibly viable strategy this game that she's got no problem with doing and nobody has any qualms with her doing, unless, of course, they're on the red side, in which case this is going to be a big problem, and we're going to have to see Rengar down there to try to counteract it. Gangplank and Garen continuing to just get in these small trades here in the top side. Very even creep score between the two of them. Neither one able to eke out a nice early edge here as Gangplank blows his barrel a little bit early onto Garen here. Garen trying to chase GP into that second barrel. Gangplank going to be able to ignite that one, get his passive back up. One problem for Garen going into this lane is that he's not going to be able to stack armor to deal with this GP simply because of the way the barrels work with the armor pen. Normally on Garen, it's very, very tempting to rush an early Sunfire Cape against these AD laners. It's a very powerful item. Essentially makes it so they can't trade with you whatsoever due to your high base damages and the tankiness that item gives you. But against GP, it's not nearly as effective as it is against some other champions due to the fact that he's able to just pierce through all that, heal himself up from your damage with the remove scurvy, and just farm safely with that barrel AoE. Mid lane, veigar up to a little bit of a CS lead over zilean, going with a very old school build. He's got the chalice. The cooldowns from that going to allow him to stack the Q more and more, going to give him the magic resist to resist zilean's damage as well. We can see Rengar posting up for a gank here on the top side. He's expecting Gangplank to go aggro onto Garen. That's what he wants. He wants Garen to get into a fight that it looks like he's going to lose as Rengar throws the bola out, but it's not going to connect. Gangplank using the scurvy a little bit earlier, however. Going to be caught by the entangling bola. It's going to stun him up. Rengar trying to get the savagery, but it's not going to work. He accidentally cancels the auto attack, and now it's Rengar who finds himself under the tower, and he's going to die. Garen's going to die as well. It's a double kill for Gangplank, except for the fact that it's not actually going to give credit for the Garen kill. He didn't get any damage on over towards Garen, but the red team horribly misplaying that tower dive. You've got to have everything in order. You've got to get yourself straight before you do a tower dive like that. This early, a mistake, a canceled auto in a tower dive turns it from a success into a complete disaster, and that's what we saw here in the top lane. Rengar and Garen originally getting a good play off onto Gangplank. They jump onto him. The initial bola from Rengar misses. They go onto Gangplank. Garen gets the silence. Gangplank uses the remove scurvy to cleanse that. Rengar can then land the empowered bola. Gangplank's all stunned up. As soon as he gets out of that, he flashes into the turret, and then they go so aggressive going after that kill. Gangplank dropping the ult here into the bot side. Blue team trying to go aggro onto these red team bot laners. The Ignite being dropped onto Braum. One more hit from Vayne would have been able to finish him off, but he does manage to avoid that. Eve showing up middle once again, trying to pressure this zilean. Not going to be able to find anything. But as Garen and Rengar dive onto Gangplank in the top side, it just doesn't work out because they can't find the damage. Rengar goes for the auto attack with the Savagery Enhance, which may have been able to find the kill, but he cancels it. And then he almost clicks the tower and then cancels that, and he just ends up chasing Gangplank around. He's not able to find the damage. He gets killed by the turret. Garen comes back in to try to finish it off, just draws a turret shot himself. Luckily gets executed. Such a botched play in the top side that Garen is going to be very, very sad about due to the amount of pressure and advantage that it gave Gangplank. He's got the Sheen now, so he can just safely farm. It's making it very, very difficult for Garen to bully him around. Blue team continuing to push up here in the bot side. 57 CS to 36. Lucian, the lane bully, getting destroyed by Vayne, the hyper-scaling AD carry. 1v5 your entire team poster child. And that is not good news if you're the red side. That is not a good omen. You want to see Lucian going up 20 CS early on in this lane. You want to see Lucian making Vayne's life miserable, forcing her out of the lane, trying to find something else to do. But instead it's him who's hiding under his tower, trying to find a way to deal with this blue side threat. That early play from Evelynn coming in on the bot side, really showing up and doing a lot for her team. And now she shows up once again. They're going to drop the ult here onto the enemy team bot lane. The teleport coming in as well. It's 4 people bot for blue side as the red team loses their AD carry. They're going to lose their support, and the blue team loses nothing in return. 4-0 now, 13.2 to 10.8 thousand gold. Very well coordinated from the blue side. They go for this dive. Evelynn finds the ultimate onto 2. Janna starts to tank turret aggro, walks immediately away from it, and they just make the dive work. Gangplank coming in to make sure that the damage is there as well. Vayne tanks the turret up until she's down to 1 hit remaining, then walks out of it. Just a very well-coordinated dive by this blue side, making it so they manage to pick up both kills cleanly and then take the tower down as well. That earns them a 3,000 gold lead here just 9 minutes into the game. Gangplank using the ultimate to just clear the wave's top. He wants to try to prevent Garen from being able to take this turret, and he is going to be able to successfully do that for now. But with the turret at this low HP, the next time he leaves the lane, it is going to fall if Garen's around to take it. Garen winning the CS war here in the top side, up about 14 over Gangplank. Both of these champions actually scaling very well into the late game. Garen used to be someone who fell off pretty hard, but with the new villain mechanic giving him that true damage on the ultimate, he still poses a huge threat in late game team fights, able to detonate a carry from about 40% life if they do have that villain mark on their head. We take a look at the vision being set up by both teams. We can see that the red team has a couple wards here in the river. They've got this pink ward in this brush here, which is very helpful against Evelyn. Lets them know whenever she's walking through this river area. They've got this ward here, mainly just looking out for roams from the rest of blue side. Obviously, this is no help whatsoever against Evelyn, but it will let them know if Veigar's roaming down towards bot side. It'll also let them know if Evelyn's heading through this area after having cleared this camp. She does take a few seconds to re-stealth after being in combat. So if she immediately walks through that after clearing a camp, that ward still will be able to pick her up. That's a very useful tip for using green wards against Evelyn, is to place them near the camps. Rengar showing up here in the mid lane, trying to use the ultimate to gank onto Veigar. Evelyn finding a lot of damage onto Garen in the top side. She will be able to find that kill as the red team finds a response kill onto Veigar in mid. Going to be a 1-for-1, a trade across the map. The junglers both coming up successfully. Rengar now 1-1. He's going for that just, I want to insta-give you build. Rengar's can do this because it completely works on him. You just want the damage to find those insta-kills, find that ultimate 100-0 potential, not even bothering with the jungle item, just going straight for the Tiamat, going to go into Yumu's Ghostblade and potential Last Whisper from there. Zilean going to have just enough mana to revive Rengar from the Vayne. He's going to jump out of the brush. He's going onto the Janna. Vayne trying to grab this kill onto Rengar for the second time, and she will be able to find it. Janna going to go down now. Vayne going to follow her immediately, and it looks like Evelyn is going to go down as well, but only after picking up Lucian. Everyone in bot lane getting punished here except for Braum. The Evelyn, the Janna, the Vayne, they all die, but Lucian and Rengar are going to go down for it as well. A 2-for-3 that comes out in the favor here of the red side, and they need to make trades that are coming out in their favor. They have an uphill battle that they're fighting at the moment, and they have to make sure that they're not giving away free trades to the enemy side. Garen trying to catch up to Gangplank. Gangplank going to be able to drop that ultimate there in the choke point to block Zilean away. The Gangplank ultimate very, very useful in fighting in these tight, cramped corridors that people can't easily maneuver around, and that's going to have to be something that the red team plays around if this game continues on into the late game, is the fact that a team fight can easily be won if they take it in a bad position where Gangplank can ult on top of the majority of the battlefield and make it so they have to fight in those cannonballs. Veigar and Vayne just pushing up this mid lane. Bottom lane's over. The blue team already won that handedly, so now their bot lane is free to push up into the mid lane, rotate around, and try to help take down those other outer turrets as well. They've already got the top lane outer turret down. It's a 2-turret count to 0 for this blue side. That's one reason why they are up 3,000 gold. And if they can manage to take down that middle tower as well, they're going to have all 3 outers down. They're going to have more control into this red side jungle. Garen managing to finally find the first tower of the game for the red side here at the 13-minute mark. As Braum DCs, hopefully he'll be back very, very soon. DC games are no fun. 4v5, just not the way the game's meant to be played, as Gangplank farming up that entire wave of minions just with one simple Q into the barrel. The Sheen and Trinity Force, such a powerful item on Gangplank due to that Sheen proc, giving him the ability to just clear out the entire wave of minions with that one shot due to the extra damage that Trinity proc provides onto the barrel in that AoE explosion. It makes it so the caster minions all die instantly. It makes it so that the melee minions die almost instantly. And it makes it so Gangplank can quickly farm up that extra gold and those silver serpents to upgrade the ultimate. Evelyn in a very aggressive position here bot side. She's going to find some damage onto Lucian, but a little bit of damage is all it's going to amount to. They're not able to actually find the kill onto him, and with Braum DC'd though, the blue team might be looking for their 3rd tower of the game. They are going to be able to dive onto Lucian here. Final hour has been popped. The heal is there. Rengar now diving on towards 3, but now he's the one who's targeted. Vayne needs another shot to be able to bring him down, but she's being targeted by the tower. One more hit will bring her down as well. Rengar gets away. Vayne gets away. Lucian gets away. Everyone's got away. So much damage being put out in this fight, but yet no casualties to speak of. Rengar still hanging around trying to throw those bolas to slow people down. Zilean's here, but Zilean alone is not likely going to be able to make a kill happen out of this. The red team crossing their fingers, hoping Braum gets back soon. Lucian not able to hold these turrets on his own. Garen now very overextended against GP. GP's going to drop the ult. He's going to drop the barrels. He's reprocking that passive, that trial by fire, and Garen's health bar is just melting away. Garen being forced to flash as GP flashes immediately after him, and that bullet with the Trinity Force going to be able to bring the Knight of Demacia down. 0-3 on Garen, 3-0 on GP. This is another good omen here for the blue side. Both these top laners can be very powerful forces to be reckoned with, disrupting team fights and putting out immense amounts of damage if they get ahead. And having Gangplank be this far ahead of Garen, having him be able to so easily deal with Garen in a 1v1 is a very good sign here for this blue side. That means if they leave those top laners alone in an island, they're going to be the ones who are taking the advantage. They're going to be the ones who are pressuring the enemy turrets. And it leaves the rest of their squad capable of doing a 4v4 without worry about what's happening on the other side of the map. Braum finally reconnecting back to the game. His team's still down about 3,000 gold as Veigar almost insta-gives Zilean that ultimate doing so much damage. But he's going to miss out on it by less than 100 HP. Got to be heartbreaking for the little guy, but Zilean more than relieved to be able to walk away from that one. Rengar having his warrior enchantment completed on his jungle item now. He completed Tiamat as well, so he's doing a lot of burst damage, and he's doing it very quickly. If he can manage to find these ultimates onto someone, he does melt through their health bar. Evelyn going to take her own blue buff. Very, very close to death. Lucian also being hurt very, very, very heavily by this Gangplank in the mid lane. They have to respect the damage coming out from him. The Veigar stun is going to find the lockup onto Lucian as the blue side manages to take out the final red team outer turret. Gangplank rotating around to try to help his team push a little bit faster than Garen was, but Garen does make it over in time. It's going to be a kill onto Vayne. Credit going over to Rengar as the red team continues to try to pressure, find something else happen out of this. The Gangplank damage going to be forcing Garen to back away as the blue side claims a tower and loses their AD carry. Blue side up 4,000 gold now, 16.5 minutes into the game. They've got a dragon. They've got 3 towers compared to 1. They can now start making more aggressive plays onto this red team side of the map. They've got all 3 outer turrets down. They've got Gangplank, who's in an incredibly powerful split pushing position. There's no one on the red team that can deal with him, barring Rengar ulting onto him and just being able to find the perfect wombo combo and insta-killing him. Unless that happens, the red team has no response to this Gangplank other than to send multiple people at him. So the blue team is now in a good position to ward up in this enemy jungle, push down mid, use 4 people middle, send Gangplank top, ward up here in this red side jungle of the red team, and then catch these red team members as they're trying to make rotations, be able to force a tower or another dragon off of that. The next dragon going to be spawning here in a little under 2 minutes. So the blue team now having the potential to make a lot of plays here, and we're going to see if they can manage to snowball this early lead into something bigger and better. Vision control, blue team dropping a couple wards here throughout the northern side of the river, just trying to keep track of these red side rotations, wanting to make sure that if somebody's walking through here like Garen is right now, they're aware of it. They're pushing up constantly in the mid lane. They want to make sure that they don't get flanked from this side so that they don't end up giving away a lead for free. That's one of the easiest ways to give away your lead. You're not paying attention. You don't got the vision control that you need to have. And if they can find a flank onto you, if they can get onto this backline with this Veigar and this Vayne, they can just absolutely melt through them. If the red team gets a solid initiation like they want, if they manage to get Rengar into the backline, it's going to be disastrous. Rengar and Evelyn getting into a duel here in the river, but with Janna rotating over, Rengar being forced to use that ult defensively to keep himself alive. Red side, 4 men in their own blue jungle. Veigar going to drop the stun to zone them all away. The Zilean bombs are there to do the exact same thing as the red team now being forced to walk away from this one. Zilean throwing those bombs out. Only going to find 1, but the damage from it is still pretty impressive poke. Garen's still top. There are 5 members of blue team in this red side jungle. Red team with 4 men to defend it. Veigar going to find another stun onto Rengar. The damage is there, and the deletion. Rengar being given a taste of his own medicine. The blue team now walking away from that one. It's going to be Zilean finding a pickup kill onto Janna in the meantime. Going to end up being 1 for 1. Still 4 members left on both of these squads. Garen teleporting in to try to keep this middle tier 2 tower alive. Going aggressive now onto Veigar. He knows how much damage he does, but he has to respect how much damage GP does in return. Gangplank is fine with Garen trying to go onto Veigar, because when Garen does that, Gangplank can just immediately turn around and start putting that damage right back onto Garen. Lucian and Vayne in the 1v1 here in the bot side. The heal coming out from Lucian, just barely going to be able to keep himself alive. The Winter's Bite from Braum is going to connect onto Vayne, and the damage from Lucian will be able to finish her off thanks to that Winter's Bite slow. The blue team now in retreat from Zilean, but he has to be careful that they don't just turn this around. Again, the damage from the Gangplank is so much higher than what you'd expect from the top laners that have been popular, that have been in meta in months before this. It's not like a Gnar. It's not like a Maokai. Gangplank can legitimately walk up to you and two-shot you. And it's what these red team members have to be aware of. It's what they have to play around. It's what they have to respect when they're chasing around the other blue team champions with Gangplank nearby. 9-7 now. The team score 34,000 to 29,000 gold. Both objectives, the Dragon, the Baron, they're live. And the blue team looking to remedy that situation for Dragon. Going to take him down again very quickly. Evelyn with Janna's shield help, capable of bringing him down without too much of a time investment, not losing too much health either. Zilean going to throw those bombs out, but with the smite there, they're able to secure it very easily and walk away. That's a 2-0 Dragon edge now for blue team. They've also got a 2-tower lead, 3-1 in that department, but they're still yet to do anything with it, really. They're able to push up into red side territory, but they're not actually able to make any plays happen with it. They're pushing, but they're trading kills back and forth. They're not grabbing any towers off of it, and that's what they need to do in order to transition this lead from a lead into a win, is to be able to find the objectives after you find the kills. Evelyn, Janna, and Veigar grouping up here middle, trying to find the kill onto either Lucian or Zilean. They will not be able to find it. It's Garen in the backdrop, going to find the silence and the spin onto Veigar. Blue team doing what they can to try to peel him away, but it's going to be Veigar who's the first casualty of the fight. Health bars dropping very low on the blue team. On the red team as well, and it's going to be Lucian and Braum both dead. Still only Veigar dead on the blue side as the blue team now giving chase to the remaining red team members. Zilean is completely out of mana. He's in no condition to be able to fight this. Vayne is going to pursue him, the condemn into the wall. It's going to be the Gangplank kill onto Rengar. It's going to be the Vayne kill onto Zilean, and it's a 4-for-1. Veigar gets killed at the start of that fight. Looks very promising for red team, but then blue team with a wonderful turnaround. 7,000 gold now. The lead that this blue team has, 13-8. They're moving towards Baron. They've got Evelyn, they've got Gangplank, they've got Vayne. They can do it very, very quickly. And with everybody on this red side dead, it's going to be hard for there to be any response coming out against it. Gangplank going to blow up a barrel. Evelyn going to be able to secure this one. And that's a Baron for the blue team here at 22 minutes into the game. The red team really, really struggling this game, largely just due to the fact that they're playing it as a 4v5 most of the time. A real shame that Braum is just DCing as much as he is. Obviously, that's most likely something out of his control. I wouldn't assume he's just leaving the game and reconnecting for giggles. But it's very, very hard for his team to be able to do anything with these plays in these 4v5 scenarios. Even if they can actually find the team fights in a 5v5, it's everything leading up to them. It's the blue team having so much more pressure because red team cannot comfortably make these rotations around to stop the blue side when they're a man down the entire time. Lucian and Rengar are going to post up in this brush, try to see if they can grab a sort of cheese kill onto Janna or Vayne here. Vayne going to rotate down to try to stop this creep wave at the turret, and she's going to get immediately melted down to about 100 HP. Going to be taken down by Zilean, getting the kill credit onto that one. Rengar now using the ulti, wanting to dive onto Janna. He's going to use the gap closer onto the creeps as Veigar teleports in to try to make something happen out of this. Zilean with the insta-res ulti onto Lucian, keeping it alive through the Veigar burst as Evelyn finds Rengar in the backdrop, and it's going to be Veigar pursuing even more damage onto Lucian as Gangplank finds a kill onto Garen under the tower in the top side. It's going to be 1 for 3 yet again, turning out in favor here of the blue side. They lose a carry to open the fight, but that's just the cost of doing business as the red team loses out yet again, trying to make these plays happen, trying to find the picks, trying to catch blue team by surprise, but then the blue team retaliation, just they're so far ahead in terms of gold, they're so far ahead in terms of what they have to work with that red team has to find plays that are even more advantageous than what they're already finding. When you lose a fight that you start by insta-giving the enemy Vayne, it's a very big problem. Braum and Zilean now pursuing onto Gangplank. They're going to find the Winter's Bite. Gangplank going to use the remove Scurvy to cleanse that slow, but he's still got the mark on him. One more hit will stun him up, but that does decay before Braum finds the Winter's Bite. It's going to be 3 blue team members now collapsing on this red side support. Going to try to use that fissure to keep himself alive, but it's not going to be enough. The 6th kill of the game going over to this Gangplank. He's got Trinity. He's got Infinity Edge. He's got a lot of damage, and he's just able to drop these barrels in the middle of the fight, and it's a double kill onto Rengar. An insta-crit, exploding him and taking him out of the equation once again. Another free kill going on the Gangplank, his 7th one of the game. That Infinity Edge Trinity Force combo with the barrel, capable of outputting just so much damage as Veigar finds the stun onto Zilean, onto Garen. They've got 1 kill. They've got the 2nd. Veigar manages to get away from the retaliation damage, and it's the red team now who are losing their middle inhibitor turret at the 24-minute mark. Blue team going to move on and take that middle inhibitor down as well. They're rotating over to the bot side. Veinbin split pushing this. She's got the minion wave here. The blue team now in a wonderful position to be able to take the second inhibitor off the back of the first with no downtime whatsoever. A beautiful play, a beautiful series of movements coming out from this blue side, making the most of these kills that they were able to find. veigar trying to drop the stun onto Bringar, but not going to be able to find it. Evelyn rushing forward with a lot of damage onto him. They're going to be able to pick up another free kill there. The Rengar just not having his day. 2 and 7 on him, continually being caught out and punished by this blue side. Garen trying to find the damage, but he's so far behind that he's not tanky enough to survive all the damage output coming from this blue squad as he tries to run up and hit into their back lines. Blue team going to be able to just find these kills on the red team members as they walk out of the fountain. The veigar stun is going to be able to lock Lucian up and bring him down as well. And it's now Garen against the world. 24-9 the team score. The blue team up almost 20,000 gold as Garen has to sit in the fountain and watch the Nexus explode. GG, well played, everybody involved. A shame about Brahms DC, but very well played to everyone on this blue team, making the game work. A little bit of stagnation there in the mid game, not snowballing it as hard as they could have, but overall very, very well played. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into this cast. Once again, my name is Captain Flowers. I'm an aspiring shoutcaster. If you enjoyed this cast, if you'd like to check out more like it, please feel free to look at any of the other videos on the channel. Let me know what you think. Leave me some comments, leave me some messages, and I'll catch you guys next time.